What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, loan officers, real estate agents, appraisers, titlers, and more? Welcome to the Monday Market Update, where we tell you what happened last week and what's going to happen this week. So far, we have 100% accuracy rating as rated by me, and we look to continue that. My name is Sean Grapevine. I am one of the sales leaders here at UMortgage, as you probably already know. And I am joined by a man who needs no introduction and who probably doesn't want an introduction, but we'll get one anyway. He's the Celine Dion to my Taylor Swift. I did not snub him in my Monday Market Update of the Year award. We have squashed our beef backstage with a tender embrace. He's saucier than the burnt ends at Jack Stack Barbecue right down the street in Kansas City, where he's from. He's the terror of the T-bill, the MBA of the MBS. He's the Helios of the HELOC, the discipler of the DSCR, and he's the locksmith of the lock desk. Welcome, Jon Arnsmeyer. How are you today?
Good morning. It was great. Just had birthday parties for the kiddo. We had a little extra time when we went to Home Depot.
How old's the kid?
He is 4, and so all his friends are also turning 4. So good. It's the season of cupcakes and gift bags.
Nice. You still do people still do like goodie bags at parties? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, it's a thing. If you're a person, well, his birthday's in 3 weeks, but if you're like last night, it's just a bunch of stuff. I want to go back to the days if you're a person of a certain age like I am, to the dingy
an elder millennial,
just old, the dingy McDonald's birthdays, where you might have Ronald McDonald show up to scare everyone. You get a cheeseburger, you get a slice of cake, and then you go home. Let's make it simple. Now it's all for the Instagram. So I'm grumpy.
Yeah, I would be too. The children's birthday parties don't sound fun to me, but I'm sure the kids love them.
Love them.
So, well, let's get into another reason to celebrate the jobs report. More Americans have jobs than ever before, which is great news for them. Couldn't be more chuffed for the American public. If you're a loan officer, you're reading the jobs report that came out on Friday. Andrew Katie called it. It came in way above forecast. And the markets, after all their exuberance in the prior week, lost their minds. The 10-year up 24 bips since Thursday.
Right. I think the markets were a little bit of a prisoner of the moment. They saw all the positive movement with inflation coming down. The stock markets were rallying, and people and you and I have discussed it on here. People were expecting all these rate cuts, but then also last week, our friend Jay Powell, he threw some cold water on the rate cut talk, and then again last night in his 60 Minutes talk, he said, "Hey, we need to be prudent," was the word he used, I believe. So again, it's just the markets got over their skis, in my opinion.
I think over their skis indeed. In a time with very little, snow on the ground. I don't know anything about skiing, but my favorite cyclist is a former ski jumper. So I just wanted to put that out there for you. I'm looking at the CME FedWatch tool on Thursday when Andrew Katie and I held the amazing What the Fed live broadcast. I looked in live at the probability from the CME Rate Watch tool, and traders were putting chances of a rate cut in March at about 43%, which was down significantly from like the week prior where they'd put it closer to 70%. Now, after that jobs, we haven't even talked about the fact that the Fed met last week, but it was kind of it was a bit of a nothing burger. That the jobs report was much more effectual, and only 16.5% of traders think there will be a rate cut in March. So I think, and I have to agree with them. I mean, unless a resoundingly positive CPI report comes in, then that looks like scarily deflationary. no shot at a rate cut in March. Agree? Disagree?
Wholeheartedly agree. And we even talked about that last week, that the Fed was probably going to push any talk of a rate cut to May. So,
Sure.
I mean, very simple answer. Not surprising.
Not surprising at all. Well, what do we have on our agenda for this week as far as economic news?
So this would be the week I call the week of the speak. Every single day we've got a lineup of Fed speakers going on. So they're going to give their talks. They probably aren't going to say anything that's too crazy. But when the Fed gets behind the mic, you never know. So that's the big one. But then also on Thursday, we've got the initial jobless claims. So Thursday would be kind of our thing to watch out for.
All right. So our initial jobless claims, which actually last week came out, more positive from a sick, macabre loan officer's viewpoint of wanting people to lose their jobs so that rates will go down. But we saw the forecast 207,000 initial jobless claims, and I think the actual came in somewhere around 225, which kind of is doesn't really align with the 355,000 jobs created in January. So it'll be interesting to see how some of the trailing weeks of January build into February. I'll be quite curious. When's the next CPI report? You have any idea?
You know what? I don't have that. I don't have that memorized. It would be, I'm gonna say this. It's in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's well, that's definitely
right.
That's February 13th. So we got that next Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. Now let me say this, Sean. What if I told you that, we saw, hey, the 10-year moved a ton and you nailed it on the head for the end of the month at 3.94? I mean, on the money. Kudos to you. But what if I told you that rates and pricing today were really no different than January 25th and 26th? I mean, I think we'd be okay with that, right?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah. And I think, I actually kind of prefer, I don't like that there was a wild V swing in the middle of it.
Right.
But I think, I think another going down in rates slowly is better for everybody. So as exciting as drastic rate cuts are, and seeing the 10-year temporarily, I mean, what was it, like 3.81 like a week or so ago, it's always fun, and it does begin to open up the floodgates of the refi pipeline. But man, I will tell you, from 2015 to 2018, rates went down about 0.5%, per month for it's great. And I was able to really build a sustainable business off of, the occasional refi, but really continue to focus on purchase. As everybody remembers, in 2020 and 2021, it's very easy to lose your referral pipeline when refis are just out there hanging around waiting to it's easier, right? I mean, you spend a lot less time refining somebody than you do winning a referral relationship. But I think a lot of people, myself included, are experiencing the after effects of, hey, if you weren't expanding your referral pipeline in 2020 and 21, you were losing it. And I think a lot of people, in the last very purchase driven year, have realized that, man, refi boom was fun, but when you have those giant drops like that, it's very easy to lose your focus and your edge. So I'm all about the slow burn down. 10-year in the low fours. I mean, if you look at our credit pull, credit pull numbers from January, the American consumer doesn't really seem to mind it. We almost had a 60% increase in credit pulls January versus December. So people are in the market even at these rates.
Amen.
So, how's and I'm sure you're seeing it too. Those credit pulls are turning into locks. How is the manning the lock desk?
Yeah,
I know our LOs aren't making it easy for you being all successful like they are.
No, actually, and my team right now, as we speak, they are doing an analysis to compare when last time we had as many locks as we had last week was. It's been a while, so it is the business is a booming, as we would say.
My guess is I'm gonna tell you what I think. The last week we had this many was May 1st through 5th of 2023.
All right, I will double check that off camera.
There you go. There you go. Yes. Yeah, it's been super exciting, and I think where rates are now is fantastic. I love it. It's like I would rather the jobs market be going absolutely bonkers, people be making more money than they ever have before, and inflation being a non-issue, and rates be right here, then people be losing their jobs, wages be stagnating, and like have a lot like be able to refi some people. It's much better this way. So I, for
Right.
one, am pretty happy with this almost soft landing.
Yeah,
Almost.
and just to build on that, I think slow and steady wins the race, and preaching patience in this time. The market is healthy, everything is growing at a good pace, but again, we have to resist being prisoners of the moment, as I said earlier, just so that we can take the long view and say, hey, if the market's growing at these rates, it gives JPOW some levers to pull when he needs to, not out of necessity, but out of health. That's the way I would say.
Yeah,
We want to be operating out of health, not in health. Unhealth, lack of health.
Yeah, there you go. Illness.
Illness. Yeah.
There you go. Well, John, before we go, any fun news from the capital markets, lender, product, partner process side of things?
I'm actually going to turn this around. Would you like to share about anything? Because I know we've had some conversations. Perhaps talking about refis.
Sure. I don't know.
I know that we are rolling out the refi rush product. And
that's right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I set it up on the tee, and you just missed.
I swung and missed.
Right. You weren't used to being asked a question. So we are rolling out the refi rush product to take advantage of this market economy, going to UWM, our strong business partner. So I would say, loan officers, talk with your folks about that great opportunity.
Yeah, it really is strong. There's we did a pipeline analysis of all the various in the money loans that this would create for us, assuming rates are where they are right now. And we found about 200 loans that we closed last year that are at least 5 months old, so there wouldn't be EPOs that weren't closed with UWM, because if they were closed with UWM, you have to wait a whole year. 100 basis points on a conventional rate and term refi. It reminds me of they had a program a couple years ago called Conquest, where they essentially just want to refi other lenders' customers. I love it. They are looking to expand their customer base, and we're the beneficiaries of it. So go into Arrive, sort by rates above 7%, conventional loans that closed at least 5 months ago, and you too can find some low-hanging fruit and really benefit some families and lower their rate, lower their payment, and save them some money. So yeah, pretty huge. We've got that, and then there's even some secret projects being worked on where in your daily digest that you get, we'll be identifying potential refi opportunities. That's all I'll say on that, but should be rolled out in the next week or so. So there we go. I do get to share a couple things.
See, there we go. You knocked it out of the park, Sean.
Thanks, buddy. Really, really appreciate it. John, it's been a pleasure speaking with you this morning. I know you've got some, locks to catch up on from the weekend, early morning locks. You've got lenders to onboard, and markets to watch. So I appreciate it.
Let's do it.
As always, thanks to everybody out there in TV land. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Let's go get some loans.
Thanks.
See you, buddy.
See you.